Charity, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're safe together with your family.
Yes, please, we are.
Awesome. We thank
We are
God.
also safe as well.
We are also doing well and we are safe. So, Charity, we are very excited you've joined us this morning to educate us concerning things that victims of the flood need to pay attention to. So, I mean, we're speaking to one of our listeners whose home has been affected by the flood. According to him, he and his family, his wife, his two daughters, and his mother. So they live in a guest house. When they wake up in the morning, they go back to their home and try to salvage what they can and put things in order. For such families that are returning to the homes that were completely or partially submerged, before they even unlock the door and they're walking, what are the first safety checks they should make to protect themselves and their families?
Good morning, Jenny, once again. Good morning to your listeners, and thank you for having me. The rains are here with us, and there were some preparations we were supposed to even make before even this flood could have started.
Yeah.
But the rains are here. First thing we'll advise is once you enter your house and the room is flooded, we'll advise you don't rush in. You need to take a good look at your building from outside. Is there any cracks on the walls? Are there any leaning structure? Are there any signs of the building being shifted? You stay out and maybe call in a professional before. Also, you have to check you have to make sure your electricity has been switched off even before you enter. Because we've heard news of people being electrocuted. I have recently heard a story of a young guy whose room was flooded and they went in for a pump. Definitely you have to use an electricity. So they tried pumping the water out and the two gentlemen died. They are dead as I speak to you now. So we need to make sure our electricity switch has been switched off if it is safe to do so. And we also advise that you don't have to walk into standing water where there may be live electrical connections. Okay. Also, I know you are outside. You are now coming to your home. With the rains with us, we advise that now it seems everybody needs to get a protective boots and gloves in our boots, in your car boots, or it should be with you. Because walking in the flood water can be contaminated. So we advise you get the safety boots. So once you are inside, once you've been able to do all those checks, you check for the cracks on the walls, you check for electricity connections, you switch them off. Then I think it will be safe for one to enter. Once you enter, you need to open your doors and windows for fresh air to circulate. And you try to avoid any electrical appliances until they've been checked before.
Okay. Thank you so much, Charity. And for someone whose home has been affected, but currently they're not in a position to afford immediate repairs, what would you say are the most important steps they should take over the next few days to make the home safe and healthy as much as possible while they're trying to seek assistance?
Okay, so this is where Fertility Pro comes in. So as Fertility Pro, I would say we provide comprehensive post-flood restoration services. Okay. So someone whose home has been submerged in water, you don't have any funds to make any major repairs immediately. So these are a few advice that as a fertility management company we can give. So the right recovery process might include the first step is water extraction from your homes. Okay. So this is where we have to pump out all stagnant waters from the room. And after pumping the stagnant waters, we have to do a thorough cleaning. Remove all the mud, the debris from this rainwater. This mud carries a lot of debris. So we have to remove all this mud and debris from the room. And then we have to disinfect and sanitize because this stagnant water carries a lot of diseases. So we have to sanitize the rooms. And then after sanitizing, we have to try and dry. There must be drying and moisture control because definitely all furniture might be wet. You might have documents, your clothing, everything might be wet. So we need to dry, and then we fumigate. And this is where some people just ignore. But because of the diseases, you need to fumigate even before you move in.
Oh.
We move in, yes.
Okay.
Then I think we get an expert because before we move in, electricity has already been turned off. So we need to get maybe an ECG or any experienced person to come and check the electrical connection.
Okay.
It has to be inspected before we turn it on.
All right. And Charity, I thought you would mention the risk of reptiles, but you haven't said much about that. Should that be a concern for anyone who's trying to get back into their home to salvage what they have left?
Yes, so that was what I was saying about the fumigation and pest control. So we know that the flood of water often attracts mosquitoes, rodents, cockroaches, termites, and other pests. So this is why you need the services of a professional company to come and do the fumigation for you. Because I've heard stories of this flood water carrying snakes even to people's homes. So yes, definitely there must be fumigation and pest control in your homes even before you move in, to help restore a healthy environment for the family.
Okay. And Charity, maybe finally, I'll give you the last word that you'd like to share with everyone listening in this morning and concerning safety in their homes in these times.
Okay, so like I rightly said, there were some preparations we were supposed to do even before the rain sets in. And a few safety tips I can give.
Yes.
There's this saying that preparation is always better than repair. We should check our surroundings. We need to clear our gutters, our drains, and waterways to allow water to flow freely. I think that's the major challenge we are facing as a country. All our drains, all our gutters are choked. We need to inspect our roofs in our homes, our ceilings. I heard Ajuman talking about a roofing company. If you know you have these leaks on your roofing sheets, you need to get them repaired immediately. Your windows, you need to check all those things. And then you need to ensure a drainage system around your property. Make sure they are not blocked, they are not debris in all those drainage systems. And then if you have any electrical appliances or important documents, like rightly said, you come from town, your home is flooded. If you have any important documents, if you have any valuable equipment, those things need to be elevated. If you have any, let's say, a higher, assuming you're living in a story building, you should keep all those items at the top so that when the rain comes in, they are not subject, especially the important document that you have. And then we hear of stories of overgrown trees, and then billboards. Those billboards need to be tightened so that when the storms come, at least our properties are not affected. And then one last advice I'll give is for us to keep the emergency contact, the national contact, the 112. I think everyone should have that contact at their fingertips as well.
Charity, thank you so much for these tips you've shared with us, the caution we need to take, getting back into homes that were partially or completely submerged. We shall probably be catching up with you again. Thank you so much, Charity. Charity Bekoe is the General Manager of Facility Pro. Thank you, Charity. Bye-bye.